We are now joined by the away team coach from Jwaneng Galaxy. Coach Morena, welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Coach, it's the second leg at Orlando. Just your thoughts going to the match tomorrow with a 2-0 deficit.
Thank you, Sister Andy, and good afternoon to all the media houses. It's another 90 minutes, which requires us to turn things around. It's going to be a tough game. We can't run away from the fact that chasing 2 goals against Orlando Pirates is not going to be an easy task. But I think these are challenges that made us or makes us strong. So I think we need to take the challenge and try our level best to improve on certain aspects of our game so that we can at least get to a level where after the game we'll also be proud of our efforts.
We will now open for questions from the floor. As per norm, we've got a roving mic. Please, by a show of hands, identify yourself as well as the media company you represent. Yeah, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, Coach. It's Kaya from The Citizen. After the game last week, you sounded confident that you can still turn the tie around. Take us through that. What did you see that made you so confident that you can still turn it around in Orlando?
Thank you very much. I think a game of football, you don't only look at the performance, but you also look at your chances. And I think we played against a very competitive team. But there are a couple of things that I think we did it right on the day. And we needed to go back and try to fine-tune certain things and make sure that we come this side ready, prepared. And any coach, given another 90 minutes against a team as competitive as Orlando Pirates, would always want to prepare his team psychologically, physically, tactically, so that when you face Orlando Pirates in the second leg, you can do well. So I think from the analysis that one was making during the game, you were saying as much as we played well, if we didn't score, then it means we didn't win the match. But now there's one thing that we need to do, which is to try and find ways of scoring goals. But when you score goals, you need also to try and get balance of saying, can I score and not be scored? And if that aspect can be corrected, then I believe that we can do well again.
Jwaneng from News 24. Coach, when you're among the most successful South African coaches with what you've done with Galaxy and even with the national team with the COSAFA, but whenever discussions are there about coaches who've made a mark, especially in the continent, I mean, your name doesn't always pop up first. What do you feel about that, and what do you think it would take for you to be given that respect in terms of your country with what you've achieved in the continent?
Thank you. I think, to be honest, I'm happy with the recognition that I'm getting in the continent. And it humbles me because I know that the harder I work, the more I will get the recognition. And it doesn't really bother me how many people are giving a positive feedback about whatever that I personally have done as a coach. I still believe that there's still a long way to go for me. And those are not things that really bothers me at the moment. What I always want to put is the hard work and to try my level best to make sure that whenever I've been given a responsibility, I try my best to make sure that I push to the best of my ability. And I think I'm really, really happy and grateful for the opportunity that was granted to me by Jwaneng Galaxy, because I think as a coach, you need an opportunity for you to be seen. players need opportunity to be seen. And I think the only time you can do that is when you get to an environment where you are valued, where you are respected. And I think Jwaneng Galaxy has already done that to me. And I also think that South African Football Association have done that to me. In many occasions, I've been given the responsibility to lead the COSAFA team, which I think it has also given me the experience that any coach needs. And so far, I'm happy that I have been given the responsibility to coach the national team, which has taught me how to handle the pressure of the national team and how to handle the club football pressure and all of that.
Good afternoon, Coach. Karabo Pasha here. Coach, I listened to your interview with one of the radio stations a couple of weeks ago, attentively and rigorously as well. You've spoken about there's certain players that you know how they think, how they pass. Did you use that knowledge in the game up against the Orlando Pirates in the first leg? And if you did, what were your shortcomings and what are you looking to fix in the second leg? Because, you know, there was a lot of confidence in your voice. Why didn't that come to pass in the first game, and how are you willing to fix that mistakes that you saw up against Pirates in the first leg?
When you prepare for a match, thanks for the question. I think it has brought a lot of confusion, because when you do analysis, if many people followed Coach Pito's analysis, he would sometimes pick on individuals, because when you do analysis, you don't only look at the team tactics. You go and look at the individual and look at the pairs and all of that. Obviously, it was easy for me to make an analysis and say, Nda and the other centre back, I know how they play, obviously, because I've watched their matches. I've worked very close with Soweto Mabas, and how he scored us in Botswana, it's exactly, if you had an opportunity to ask players, they will tell you, it's exactly how we were analysing him, to say, Tseho knows how to be in that space, and he will wait for a moment where you do not maybe track him, and he will take a shot and will score. So one would say, if you look at the time that Pirates scored us, it was in the critical phase of the match. And that's where we say concentration time. And that's where I think we lacked concentration. And I think, again, not really concentration, but I think we never expected him to take a shot from that possession. And that's how we considered. We spoke about their transition game. And obviously, if you are desperate to score, you'll automatically open up gaps at the back. So for me, I think whatever analysis we made worked for us. If you look at how we played in the second half, we're not allowing Chain to start the ball at the back, because he's very influential, and he's one of the South African goalkeepers that I think influences Orlando Pirates game so well, especially with the build-ups. So one would say, how do you want a Chain to play? How do you want Tseho to play? Force him to face his own goal. It will be difficult for him to get an opportunity to score. But sometimes you can't do that 90 minutes. There will be a moment where concentration drops. And that's what I'm saying. Sometimes people, when you talk these things, they only use the love they have for the club that you are playing against, and forget that when you do analysis because you are facing a team that has a structure, and in that structure, you need to find ways to penetrate that structure, and you need to nullify their strength. So which is something that I think, as I was talking about the individuals that I work with, it was easy for me. I knew Saleng, he will run into those spaces because that's his strength. And when you analyze Pirates deeper, you'll know each and every player, how they play. And to be honest with you, structurally, I think one thing that the coach has mastered is to play players according to their strength. Mufukeng will hold on to the ball because that's his strength. Maswangai will hold on to the ball, that's his strength. And that thing has made players around them to understand that this is how these guys are playing. So when you plan for those people, there's a stage where you say, it's no longer about tactics, it's about concentration. And for you to master it and to get it right, you need to concentrate. So those are some of the elements that I think we have tried to do. And we have taken the fact that they have scored from the situations we spoke about. It's a matter of going back, try to prepare again, and make sure that we get the results.
Coach, when you look at tomorrow's game, I mean, for Orlando Pirates, it's a situation of once beaten, twice shy. But for Jwaneng FC, it will be if it's nice, you play twice. I mean, it's a year later now. You've tasted what it's like to be on the continent playing Champions League last season. But now going into tomorrow's game, of course, you've already alluded to what will be important for you tactically, and so forth. But what would it mean, not only just for you, but for Jwaneng FC, to make sure that you overturn those results and make sure that you go for CAF Champions League for the second time in a row?
I think we have assembled a very good team, and I think, honestly speaking, I'll be very happy for the team to go into the group stages. But I always say, when you have prepared and done everything that you needed to do on the day, and you go into the field of play, give your all, and you don't get the results you wanted, you need to look at the positives. And that's one part that I've told the players to say, we are going, God has given us another chance to fight one more time so that we can go into the group stages. But there is more to life than only qualifying for the group stages. So we need to make sure that we do our best tomorrow for the opportunity we have. And at the same time, we need also to say, what do we do next if it's not happening the way we want? We are playing against a very competitive team, and Pirates is very difficult to play them, especially in Orlando. But we always have a reference of saying, we went to Benjamin Mkapa where they were saying it's difficult for one to get the results against Simba. We went there, we got the results. So we keep that hope, we keep that belief that we have once done it, and we believe that getting another opportunity, 90 minutes, we can still do something.
Coach, I'm sure all coaches have mutual respect and admiration for each other, but sometimes on the touchline it gets a bit heated. I just want to know what was frustrating you so much that you had a bit of a moment with Coach Mandla in the first leg.
I don't really think that I was frustrated. I think, to be honest with you, I have a huge respect for Coach Mandla. He's my brother. I respect him so much. I think he acted maybe out of the situation where I was talking to the referee about the incident where our goalkeeper was pushed or something. I can't remember when. But as professionals, those kind of situations will happen many a times. And I don't really think that we need to be personal about such things. And like I'm saying, I respect him so much. And maybe when the time is right, he will explain to me how it happened and why. And if you have seen the situation well, I was talking to the referee, but he came because I think he wanted to say something. And between me and him, obviously emotions were high. But with the respect I have for him, I understood that obviously here it's not a fight that is personal. It's a brother that wants to push me so that maybe I get a yellow card and be frustrated. And those are tactics that are there in football. Sometimes you can see that, you know what, we have done everything tactically in the field of play, but now we want to score. What do we do? Now let's try to disturb the one that is trying to control the ship from not sinking. And that's the period where I think he got it and he wanted to say, let me push him, maybe he will get angry. And it was a very clever move because if it's an assistant coach, he can risk getting a red card, but a head coach can risk to get a red card. But I think how we handle it, it was very professional. It was in the heat of the moment. After that, life goes on. We are not enemies.
We'll take the final 3 questions, starting here, the gentleman, Mahlati, and find time we get the 4th one.
Yes. Coach Velile here from SABC. Just on Pirates, I think this is game number 8 for them. Tomorrow, it's been 5 or 6 wins now, 2 draws. What's different? And I'm sure you've done deep analysis now for game 2. From your observation, what's different about this Pirates to the one that you met in 2 legs and last year? And also even going back to, in terms of your approach, coming here to hunt rather than when you came here last season to be hunted. How does that influence you tomorrow as well?
I think I said this in Bravelile in our press conference in Botswana. I said Jwaneng Galaxy it's a team that is growing. To face giants like Orlando Pirates and you compete pound to pound with Orlando Pirates, it says a lot about the level and the vision that the club has. So obviously for us coming here, trying to get the results against Orlando Pirates, it says a lot about us to say, can we turn things around? Do we have the ability to upset and maybe win against this giant? And I think I always make example of things that have happened before, and I always say it is important for us to understand that commitment and the discipline that you bring into the team changed a lot of things. And I think one part that I think we have managed to get it right, it is the commitment that we get from the players who are no longer worried who they play against, because they have played top clubs in Africa, and that has made them a very competitive side. So for me, coming here, hunting for the results, it's like going to Morocco looking for the results and coming back with the results. And I still believe that as much as when sometimes one speaks from a level of confidence and belief, it sounds cocky and arrogant, and I still say we are just humble and we want to get the results, and we'll remain humble. The results, whether we get the positive or the negative results, we'll take them because we are in a learning process. And sometimes we need to understand that people who have been there before us have done this and they have the experience. But we are here to hunt, and I believe that something very positive will happen. And again, maybe talking about Orlando Pirates, I don't really think that has much changed. Tactically, I think they are still the same in terms of how they do things. But I think, again, it is how much you want it. You can see the players, how committed they are. And we are facing Pirates in a stage where they have dominated MTN 8. And for a reason, this is a period where I think there is something very special they are doing with their preseason, where they know how to fast-track performance versus competition. So they go into MTN 8 knowing that it is a tournament that starts the season. And how they do their preseason, they prepare their team to be ready for the MTN 8. That is why sometimes, I don't remember when last did I see them being knocked out of the MTN 8. I think for the past 3 years they've been into the finals. So it simply says what they do during preseason, they play matches which prepare them for the competition that is about to start the season. And you are talking about the matches that they've played, about 6, they have won 6 out of 8. So obviously, statistically, one would say they have gained momentum early. Maybe again, it's the reason why maybe towards the end of the season, sometimes they drop because they peak at the right time, maybe early, and drop at the time where they need to finish the season. So those are some of the things that obviously needs technicians to sit down and say, how do we keep this performance throughout the season? But for me, coming here facing a Pirates that is on form, it is good for us, because like I'm saying, if we want to build Jwaneng Galaxy and make Jwaneng Galaxy a better team, we need to face teams like Orlando Pirates.
How do you prepare mentally and preparing visual the game ahead tomorrow against Pirates?
After losing a match, always, I think it's what most of the coaches does. You look at the positives and address the individuals on the negatives. Psychologically, that's the first part of saying, don't talk too much about the negatives, because if one would go into Orlando Pirates game that we played in Botswana, we had so many positives, but because we didn't score and we didn't win, it's easy for somebody that is on Facebook or on WhatsApp to say, Pirates won. But the match, the results were not true reflection of what happened on the day. It could have been, it could have gone either way, because we had chances that could have given us a win, could have given us a draw. But at the end of the day, you need to remind your players of the importance of giving another better performance and better competition in the next match. So psychologically, that's what you do. Tactically, I think, to be honest, Pirates never had enough time between the game they played against us and the second match. They were playing on Wednesday, used the same lineup, and they made changes, which changes might also say you might anticipate a change in our game, because I don't think it's possible for individuals to play 3 matches, the same group 3 matches. It might have taken a lot out of them. So obviously there might be changes, but there are things that they are not going to change. So obviously, as much as there will be changes, we know that there are those that tactically, there are elements that are not going to change.
Good afternoon, Coach, and welcome. Coach, there's been some instances in the prior on the continent where you have had to come up very strongly to defend this club from media and also from officials and that kind of thing. My question is, I just want to find out, have you had a sense that to a large extent there's been disrespect towards you as an individual and also to the club because of, as you said earlier on, you are an emerging club that is not quite there as well as the top teams on the continent? Have you felt that maybe people disrespect this club because it's still young and growing?
If you go into the Bible, and when David was to face Goliath, no one believed that David will win. And the only time they gave respect and support to David is after he has won against Goliath. So being small, you'll always be undermined because when people look at you, they feel that you can't do what the big giants are doing. So if you take it personal, then it's a problem. But you need to understand that before Orlando Pirates can be as big as they are, there was a stage where other clubs were still thinking that this team from South Africa, they can't do anything. So the respect and the commitment we give to the game will always help us, because I don't really think that those are some of the things that we really need to be worried about. At some point, I know that you are trying to put it nicely. At some point, there was the issue of Muti and everything. But I still say, if Botswana can't qualify for AFCON, and you are saying a team from Botswana is using Muti, why that Muti can't help the national team to qualify for AFCON? Why can't African teams win World Cup? Because Africans are using Muti, if that's the belief. You understand? So the biggest problem with the society is that when something good is happening, we are looking for something wrong or negative in whatever that is happening. So sometimes when you are not strong mentally, it will kill you. So for me, I think personally, I accept when I've been maybe discredited or not being respected the way I'm expecting, because I understand that not everybody will understand where we come from. And I'm expecting that with the team that I'm leading, to say they must understand that not everybody will respect them. You know, let me make an example. For Dlamini to just wear Orlando Pirates jersey, he commands so much respect. But take the same Dlamini and give him Jwaneng Galaxy jersey, it will be a different person. Because people are not respecting what you are doing, they respect the badge. And at the moment, Orlando Pirates deserves the respect because of how they've been working. And for us to get where Orlando Pirates is, we must work and remain humble and respect everybody and accept everybody's opinion. So for me, sometimes I might be hard on maybe journalists. It's because even if I can coach Sekhukhune tomorrow, I'll still be representing the badge that I'm wearing, because I'm not going to allow somebody to disrespect my employers. Never. I'll never allow that. So wherever I go, I take that and say I need to respect the badge that I'm wearing. And as I'm talking to you, I'll always defend Jwaneng Galaxy. That's my team, that's my company, that's where I'm working, and I'll give the respect to that. And I'll work as hard as I can to make sure that I make this club a better team.
Final question.
Welcome, Coach. Just back to the matters on the field. How do you then coach your players? Because earlier you said the panic and all of that in terms of knowing that you need to get goals. How do you keep them calm going into the match where they probably have to score early and get that goal? And how do you actually keep them around the Orlando Pirates euphoria with the fans and all of that, keep them grounded, not to be playing the event as the occasion, but playing the match?
Okay, thank you, Ramas. I think we have played more matches of this magnitude. We have been to Benjamin Mkapa, we have been to Morocco, where we have been to Ivory Coast facing ASEC, full stadium. So one, I don't really think that the issue of a crowd will still be a problem to our team because they now understand. We have been here, and when we're here, the stadium was full. So I think it's a matter of saying we need element of patience. I have learned something about life. When you are packing and you are rushing, sometimes you leave your valuable things behind because you are rushing. But when you are packing and you are relaxing, you don't even leave anything, because when you are about to close the bag, you remember that I did not put this, then you do that. So for us to score goals, we need to be patient, and we need to understand that we are playing against people who have scored us 2 goals, and for them to win the match, they don't have to concede. Secondly, for them to win the match, they don't have to open gaps like people that are looking for goals. But let's be honest, we are playing here against Orlando Pirates at Orlando. Obviously, Orlando Pirates at Orlando will not sit deep and defend. And I don't remember watching any match where Orlando Pirates will sit deep. Even when they play against a dominating Mamelodi Sundowns, they will still be attacking Sundowns. And I think if one has to make a reference, they are the only team in this country most of the time that gives Sundowns problems, because they are not afraid of attacking. So obviously, you know that as much as you want to punch, you must expect punch as well, because you are playing against people that will be able to attack you. And as much as they do that, they are very solid defensively. So how are you going to make sure that you strike balance between the two? Deny them an opportunity to score and try to get goals. So doing that, obviously, it takes a lot of preparation and a lot of belief and the confidence. And I think that's what we are going to do tomorrow. And as I said, we're going to try our level best to get the positive results. And I will come back here if we don't get the positive results and give a feedback to say why we did not get the positive results. If we get the positive results, we'll remain humble, come back here and give why we managed to get the results. But it's going to be a very tough game, very interesting game. I think both teams have given people what they wanted in Botswana. So the second leg is here. For those that will be here to watch, it will be another entertaining game.
That note, thank you, Coach. Thank you, members of the media.